climate change is affecting the entire world, but today, students are going to share their research and reporting into what's being done to combat climate change in the United States and Europe.
So we're going to start off today by just looking at some basic data concerning climate change. The graph on the left shows the atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide since the 1960s, and the graph on the right shows the difference in average global temperature since the 1880s. And these are levels that we have never before faced in human history. And the levels are still increasing.
A lake and drinking water reserve close to our campus, Lake Casitas, is drawing at what seems like rapid speed, continuing to lower from its current standing of 30% capacity.
Of course, one cannot understand the full picture of climate change in Ojai without first understanding both its culture and the larger culture of California. This creates a fascinating divide between progressives and conservatives when it comes to enacting climate solutions, because environmental resources are assessed in starkly different ways and with starkly different priorities.
A 2-degree rise in temperature would see about an estimated 37% of the global population being exposed to extreme heat waves in once every 5 years, compared to just 14% of the population if we limit global warming to 1.5 degrees.
The ultimate goal is to reach a net zero of emissions by 2050. So that's the main date. And there's another date worth remembering, which kind of acts as a midpoint. It's 2030. And so by then, carbon emissions should have dropped by 55%. If everything goes to plan.
A study published last month by Nature Climate Change said that the last 22 years has been the driest in more than a millennium for California.
The drought has been a really, really major part of life in Ojai, right? So every year it's getting drier and drier, and it's harder and harder for farmers and their families to maintain their livelihoods.
So we conducted some interviews where we interviewed about 20 to 25 people.
Pollution, deforestation, and chaos.
Thinking about the energy we use, while others thought of policies or talking to corporations about how to change their practices. One person said global unity, which I found very astute. So I included that there.
So some really interesting trends where every single person I asked had no idea that Ventura County was the county with the greatest change in temperature, which I thought was very significant because that's a huge deal, and even people living in Ojai had no idea.
Now, Cut 11% is a movement that presents data on carbon emissions per capita for every country and how much of their emissions they need to cut in order to meet the 1.2, 1.5, or 2-degree targets.
And so one of the objectives of this strategy is the proposal of a legal framework for protecting soils across Europe and especially the EU, which is called the Soil Health Law.
The media talks a lot about the effects of climate change. We see floods, we see fires, but they don't talk as much about actual proper solutions that we could have to solve these problems.
In a way to collaborate with the Thacher school, I think it would be great if we could find some space in their school to paint a mural.
Okay. Have any of you participated in the strikes on Fridays?
Yeah, before COVID, I used to basically go to everyone. Mm-hmm. I don't know about the others, but I used to, yeah.
Was that meaningful to you, Clara?
Yeah, I loved going, not only because I got time off of school, but it was very fun, and just seeing all those people that want the same thing kind of was motivating, if you will.
Do you think it's had an impact on policy?
Unfortunately, no. I don't think so. I don't think it's achieved much, especially now they've kind of stopped. I mean, there aren't as many strikes as before, but I don't think it's had much of an impact, no.
Okay. Thank you to the panelists and the attendees, and I wish all the best to everybody. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
So everyone
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.